Whoa, hey there science fans, have you ever imagined what it would be like if gravity took a day off? Like poof, gone. What would happen to us? What about our stuff? It's a pretty wild thought, right? Imagine waking up one morning and instead of your feet hitting the floor you just float. Your alarm clock, up and away. Your breakfast cereal, more like a floating food blob. It sounds pretty funny, but a day without gravity would be totally bananas. Things wouldn't just float away though. Gravity does some pretty important stuff here on Earth, and without it, things would get really weird, really fast. So, buckle up, science explorers. Let's take a trip to a world without gravity, and see what kind of wacky adventures await. First things first, let's talk about what happens to us when gravity goes on vacation. Remember that feeling you get on a roller coaster when you go down a big hill? That's your stomach doing a little flip because of gravity. Well, without gravity, that feeling would be constant. We'd be floating all over the place. Walking to school? Nope. Riding a bike? Forget about it. We'd be bumping into walls, ceilings, and each other. Can you imagine trying to play basketball without gravity? The ball would never come down. And swimming, more like bobbing around in a giant blob of water. It would be total chaos. Speaking of chaos, let's talk about food. Without gravity to hold it down, our food would be flying all over the place. Imagine trying to eat a bowl of cereal when the milk floats away, or taking a bite of a sandwich that's determined to escape your grasp. And forget about pouring a glass of juice. It would just turn into a big, wobbly ball of liquid. We'd have to get really creative with our eating habits if we wanted to survive a day without gravity. Gravitational pull than a sandwich or even a school bus. Section 5. Earth, the gravity champ. That's why we're stuck to the Earth instead of floating off into space. The Earth's gravity is what keeps us grounded, literally. It's also what keeps our atmosphere from floating away and gives weight to objects. Without gravity, there would be no up or down, no weight, and everything would just float around in a big, jumbled mess. Not exactly the ideal situation for life. Ball, and we're like tiny little tennis balls. Section 7. Moon jumps, gravity's not so strong out there. But gravity isn't the same everywhere. The farther away you get from an object, the weaker its gravitational pull becomes. That's why astronauts can jump so high on the moon. The moon has less mass than the Earth, so its gravity is weaker. In fact, if you were to stand on the surface of the moon, you would weigh about 6 times less than you do on Earth. That means you could jump 6 times higher and lift 6 times heavier objects. Talk about a superpower. Section 8. Floating around, fun for a day, tricky for life. So, while a day without gravity might sound like a fun adventure, it would actually be pretty disastrous. We need gravity to live. It keeps our bodies working properly, our atmosphere in check, and our planet in orbit. Without gravity, life as we know it wouldn't be possible. So next time you're feeling grounded, take a moment to appreciate the invisible force that keeps us all from floating away. Section 9. Gravity, it's a wrap, for now. And here's a surprising fact to leave you with. Did you know that gravity is actually the weakest of the 4 fundamental forces in the universe? It's true. The other 3 forces, the strong nuclear force, the weak nuclear force, and the electromagnetic force, are all much stronger than gravity. But even though it's the weakest, gravity is still pretty amazing. It's what holds the entire universe together, from the smallest atoms to the largest galaxies. So the next time you're wondering about the mysteries of the universe, Remember the power of gravity,